Max Verstappen on pole position with the Ferraris alongside, Hamilton starting third, Leclerc down in 14th place. The battle is brewing here in Brazil. Who will end up on top at Sao Paulo? Welcome to the Sunday race preview. Formula 1 moves away from the United States of America to round 20, the Brazilian Grand Prix at the Autódromo João Carlos Paes, the Interlagos circuit. It's been home to so many classic championship deciding moments, but it is, alas, not the championship decider this weekend. It's round 20 of the season. After this weekend, just one more race remains in Abu Dhabi, but we have had so many different winners this season. We are hoping to get a classic race here this weekend. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, well, Lewis Hamilton leads the way, 381 points, and is the champion after just finishing second last time out in America. Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc are nearly confirmed in second and third. Leclerc must have a good result this weekend to do so, because he's being chased down by his teammate Sebastian Vettel in 5th and Max Verstappen in 4th place. Albon, Sainz, Gasly also in a battle for 6th place in the championship. Then followed by, we've got Ricciardo, Perez and Norris, Hülkenberg, Kvyat and Raikkonen all battling out as well for the 9th spot. And then we've got Stroll, Magnussen battling out for 15th. And sadly, it looks like Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Russell and Kubica all still at the back. In terms of the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes are the Constructors' Championships once again. Ferrari are confirmed in second, Red Bull confirmed in third, and this weekend McLaren could confirm 4th place in the championship as well. The battle between Renault, Racing Point, Toro Rosso are getting close again, but Renault have pulled out a gap in the last 2 races. Alfa Romeo look to be stuck in 8th place there, just a little bit ahead of Haas in 9th, and Williams are already confirmed into 10th place. Hello everybody, welcome to Sao Paulo and Interlagos. This is where the championship dreams have been made of, but recently it's always been in the rounds before. Like it was this year. Lewis Hamilton, a 6-time world champion, coming here to Sao Paulo, and everything is going not his way, it's going Red Bull and Ferrari's way. Max Verstappen lines up on pole position with Sebastian Vettel alongside. Hamilton starts third. Leclerc starts all the way down in 14th place. The race is on here in Sao Paulo and it's all looking good. Before we get to the qualifying report, let's take a look around this Interlagos circuit with lap attack. Let's take a look around the Autódromo João Carlos Paes Interlagos, 4.309 miles and a race distance of 305.909 kilometres. Into turn 1 and 2 then, the centre race curves, brake down to 3rd gear, hold the apex tight, let the second apex just sort of flow you down round turn 3 before you head down the retro posta towards turn 4. Open up the DRS, hold in the 8th gear, drop all the way down to 4th gear into the Cena de Larga. Drop down, let the car go a little bit wide at the exit, get back on the power and rise up the hill through turn 5 before turn 6 at Fredadora. Now, this is an uphill battle, 7th gear, drop down to 5th gear, let the car sort of almost magnetic force up the hill before you brake hard into turn 7 and 8 at Magullo. Drop down the hill into Fiorana, and just let the car ease back on the power. 9 and 10 and 11 to the Pico de Pato corner. Tight apex, hard as you come through now through Magullo. And the final turn 13, the last real corner on the track of Juncal. This is where, of course, is that block happen. Up the hill, a little bit of oversteer, over the Aquabanas before coming to the line. It really is a fantastic circuit. It really is quite straightforward. And it really is a circuit that has provided us with such history over the last God knows how many years. Right, let's get into the qualifying report then and start as ever with As It Happened, and started with Q1 as we saw Verstappen impresses as Carlos Sainz mysteriously ended out the session. It was Verstappen who was on form in the first part of qualifying for the Brazilian Grand Prix. He set a lap time a quarter of a second faster than anyone else. It was Leclerc who was his closest challenger, but his best time came from 6 laps on the soft compound tyres. Interesting to note going into qualifying 3. Ferrari thought. Very competitive fight to avoid the drop zone. Sergio Perez scraping through with his final lap. in the last few seconds of qualifying 1. Teammate Lance Stroll couldn't repeat the trick. He has never made it out of Q1 here in Brazil and was eliminated. Danny Kvyat bumped out too, just 0.012 off the pace of Perez. He was 7th in Q1. It's his 7th Q1 exit in 13 races. He was joined by the Williamses of Russell and Kubica. Carlos Sainz was the surprise departure, however. He couldn't get a clear run at the end of qualifying, counting a loss of power, and then the team opted not to send him back out again. He finished out of the session. So knocked out in qualifying 1 was Kvyat, Stroll, Russell, Kubica and Sainz. On to qualifying 2 then, and Mercedes struggle as Haas get both cars in the top 10 for the first time since the Spanish Grand Prix. Leclerc went out first. He opted for the medium compound tyres in the session. Everyone else took on a pair of softs to start the race on. So Leclerc, with that 10th-place grid penalty, remember, does have to start the race on the tyre he got through to Q3. So he's starting the medium tyre, so it should make more sense to get Leclerc back up into the front of the field. The Monegasque driver impressed, but Mercedes didn't look like they had the legs to keep up with Red Bull or Ferrari. Hamilton half a second off the pace. Field headed out for a second go, but a spin for Antonio Giovinazzi at turn 8 prevented anyone from improving, so that meant that Lando Norris was eliminated, along with Daniel Ricciardo, Antonio Giovinazzi, Nico Hülkenberg and Sergio Perez, abruptly ending qualifying 2. On to qualifying 3 then, and it was a dramatic one from the start because Verstappen really had the bit between his 10th in the opening runs of the session. He wanted that pole position more than anybody else, but could he get it? The Dutchman was quickest, but he wasn't fast enough. He did set a purple sector. 3 bests were enough to give him provisional pole by 0.08 of a second to Sebastian Vettel though on the first run, but he tidied things up on the second run and got a much better launch, fastest in sector 2 and 3, and got pole position, out qualifying Vettel. Leclerc looked to finish in 3rd place to start 13th, but at the last moment Hamilton jumped up to 3rd to make it a Mercedes, a Ferrari and a Red Bull 3rd, 2nd and 1st on the grid. It's looking good though. Leclerc 4th as well, dropped to 14th, that means. So Bottas promoted to 4th. Good grid slot. No driver has ever won from Interlagos on 4th place, so Bottas doesn't look likely to win tomorrow. Right, let's take a look at the full grid then for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen starts on pole position for the Brazilian Grand Prix. He's alongside Sebastian Vettel on row 1. Row 2 is Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. Row 3 sees Alexander Albon and Pierre Gasly. Row 4 sees Romain Grosjean and Kimi Räikkönen. Row 5, Kevin Magnussen and Lando Norris. Row 6 sees Daniel Ricciardo and Antonio Giovinazzi. Row 7, Nico Hülkenberg and Charles Leclerc with a 10th-place grid penalty. Row 8, Sergio Perez and Danny Kvyat. Row 9, Lance Stroll and George Russell. And Row 10, Robert Kubica alongside Carlos Sainz, who has to start from the back of the grid for a 25-place grid penalty. He only has to serve the 20. It's all ship-shape ready to go for the Brazilian Grand Prix. A lot to do in the Grand Prix. Who's it going to be? Verstappen? Is it going to be Vettel? Or is it going to be Hamilton? Well, 5:10 to find out. From us all here, bye for now.